This is video number 2 in the Simple Faces series. I'm going to show you how to use Adobe Illustrator to draw a simple face similar to these examples. First of all, go to File, New, and from this window choose Web, Minimum, title this Face number 2, and put your name on it. Then click Create. First I'm going to set up my colors. Go to Window, Swatches, and from the default Swatches palette, click this side menu, choose Open Swatch Library, and click Skin Tones. I'm also going to open up another set of colors. So again, go to the side menu, Open Swatch Library. This time I'm going to go to Color Properties and choose Bright. And you can see that these two tabs are nestled into the same panel. If they don't go like that, you can simply click the tab with the name and drag it over so that they are in the same panel. That way you can click back and forth between them. Next, get the rectangle tool. The keyboard shortcut is M. Click and drag out a rectangle. Then click on these little side or these little dots in the corners to drag that down to make an oval. Now let's select some colors. Down here in the fill and stroke area, click to bring the stroke forward and set it for none. Then bring the fill forward and choose a color. I'm going to go ahead and choose this skin tone right here. The next thing that I'm going to do is create the hair. So on the keyboard I will click L to get the ellipse tool. Hold down Shift and click and drag a circle. I will make the hair color, let's go with this, how about purple? Why not? Purple hair. Okay. So V on the keyboard is the selection tool, and I'll move this hair over here. L again to get the ellipse tool. Hold down Shift, drag out another section of hair, and I'm holding down the space bar while I'm dragging, and I'll put that right here. And everyone's hair will be a little bit different, so you can choose a different placement than mine. So again, hold down Shift, drag out a circle. Before you let go of Shift, hold down the space bar, and then you can move that little piece of hair where you want it to be. I'm going to click another, hold down Shift, click and drag, hold the space bar, move that hair around. Okay. I'm going to stop there for now. I might rearrange the hair later. Next, I'm going to make an eye. So I already have the ellipse tool selected. I'm going to hold down Shift and click and drag a little eye. And then I will go up to my swatches and change it to black. I'm going to hold down the Alt key, click and drag, and while I'm dragging, I'm going to hold down Shift, which makes the eyes stay in a straight line. Let's see, a little bit more. Okay. Next thing that I'm going to do is create the nose. So I will use the rounded rectangle tool, which does not have a keyboard shortcut, so I just have to go over and get it. So click and hold on the tools, shape tools, and choose the second one, the rounded rectangle. I will click and drag out a nose, choose a slightly darker skin tone color. On the keyboard, Control C is copy and Control F is paste in front. So now I have two copies of that nose, and now I'm going to click V on the keyboard to switch to the selection tool. Hover the cursor around the corner until you get the rotation arrow. Start to click and drag and then hold Shift, which constrains the rotation and I can make it 90 degrees right there. I'll use my arrow keys to scoot that down a little bit, and I think I'm going to make this a little longer. Scoot this down a little bit more. Everybody's noses are different, so you can make yours the way that you want to. Let's see, I have one selected. I'm going to hold down Shift and select the one behind it and look for the center alignment right there. Now I think my eyes are off a little bit, so I'm going to click and drag, hold down Shift, click this one, and right click, and I will group these together. So now that they're grouped together, I can find the intersect point, so I will know when these are in the middle. There we go. All right, the next thing that I'm going to do is create the ears. So L on the keyboard gets the ellipse tool. I'm going to hold down Shift, click and drag a circle for the ear. I will turn it my skin tone color. Control C to copy, Control F to paste in front. Go back to the selection tool, which is V on the keyboard. Hold down Shift and Alt and click and drag that top circle to make it smaller. Now I will choose a darker skin tone. I'm going to click and drag a box around these so that I can select them, and I'll move them into place. Hold down Alt on the keyboard, drag off a copy, and if I hold down Shift while I'm dragging, it will make it stay in a straight line. So these two are selected. I'm going to hold down Shift, click on this ear part and the ear part behind it, then right click and group those together. Now I want to send them behind the head, so to do that I will right click, arrange, and send to back. Now I want to make a little bit more hair. That's going to be the hair behind the head. So L on the keyboard to get the ellipse tool. I'm going to click and drag a circle and change it to my hair color. Now I will click V on the keyboard to switch to the selection tool. Hold down Alt, click and drag a copy, and as I'm dragging, I will hold down the Shift key to make that stay in a straight line. With this one selected, I will hold down Shift, select this one too, right click, arrange, and send to back. Now I'm going to rearrange the hair a little bit, change the size slightly so that the hair looks a little nicer the way I want it to. So as I'm changing the size of these, what I'm doing is holding down Shift and using only the corners, which makes this proportionate. So I can change the hair around and make it the way I want it. So let's see here. All right, the next thing that I'm going to do is make the mouth. So L on the keyboard to get the ellipse tool, hold down Shift, click and drag out a circle. Over here in the swatches, or I'm sorry, the fill and stroke area, click the swap arrow, which makes the fill none and changes the stroke to the color. Now I will choose a color for the mouth. Let's see. I think I'll go with maybe this pinkish tone right here. Oops. So I had the stroke forward, so I'm going to undo that. Control Z. Click to bring the stroke forward. Then select my skin tone. All right. So I have a really small stroke, so I'm going to change the size of that. So window, stroke, and I will change that to, let's see, let's try 18. Oh, too big. Let's try 14. All right, that looks better. So on the keyboard, select A, which is the direct selection tool, and I'm going to click and drag a box around the top anchor point and then hit delete on the keyboard. I'm also going to draw a box around this left anchor point here and then click delete on the keyboard, and all I have is this little segment left. I want to create rounded caps instead of flat, so in my stroke panel I will open the side menu to show options. Whoops, covered up my mouth. And I will click this rounded caps selection. I'm going to turn this from a stroked path into a shape by going to Object, Path, Outline Stroke. Now I will click V on the keyboard to switch to the selection tool, drag this mouth over. Maybe I'll make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to hold down Shift and use the side, the corner arrow there. All right, so let's look at this. I think I need to move these down a little. They look a little bit too high. There we go. There is my finished face. So what you should do now is, now that you've made one, practice the skills that you just learned and make a few more faces. Use different colors and make the face wider or longer, or make a few variations. Just play around with what you learned, and your finished product may look something similar to this. Make sure you save it to your student drive and then turn it in for credit. That's it for this video.